Greetings, friends. I am Agamemnon, and this is StarCraft Happy Hour, Episode 2. This one is entitled Hotkey Mistakes. We have an exciting play of the week as well. And we have IronGRID, which I'm going to be revealing for the first time. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy. Please say hi in the chat. So, what are we doing today? So we talked about hotkey mistakes. I've actually found in talking to a lot of people that we play with that there are a surprising number of people that actually don't even bother using hotkeys. So by that I mean, like, instead of clicking in the command card, you know, on the bottom right, actually using your keyboard with your left hand, if you're right-handed, and hitting the commands on the keyboard. And I want to give you guys one quick analogy if you're thinking about why should I use hotkeys. Well, first of all, the first part of this StarCraft Happy Hour is actually going to feature a replay by one of our subscribers named Mike, and he's a master level player, and it's really going to help us to see the advantages of using hotkeys. But I want to use an analogy. StarCraft is an e-sport, right? But it's also very similar to other sports. Let's take, for example, I mean, you could take any sport, but hey Mike, how's it going, buddy? Take, for example, golf. So most people, if they're getting into golf, they're going to play a couple games with their friends, go to the driving range or whatever, and then they're going to get to the point where they're like, hey, I want to get better. How do I get better at this game? And so they might go to a pro or to a friend who says, well, first thing you need to do is you need to have the right technique. So, for example, in golf, one of the techniques is a certain grip, right? Now, if you just want to play and just have fun, you might not care about learning the grip. You might not care about your technique. But if you're like me, you want to know that you're doing the best you can. You're not just, for me, I'm not just happy to play the game. I want to play it knowing that I'm doing it right so that I can reach my most potential and so that I can progress. In StarCraft, hotkeys are like that technique. If you're not using hotkeys, if you're not using a good hotkey setup, then it's kind of like, yeah, you're playing for fun, and that's fine, that's great, have a great time, but you may never get beyond that level because your technique is what's going to hold you back. Whereas if you had just kind of pushed through that awkward stage, learn the hotkeys, learn the technique, then you're going to grow leaps and bounds. So, if you're not convinced yet, we're going to show you an awesome replay by Mike, and I think it's going to really help to highlight why hotkeys and control groups are so effective and necessary in StarCraft. So let's just jump right into the replay here. Alright, so we're going to watch this game from the point of view of Mike, okay, because there's a few things that I want you guys to take note of, and you'll be able to see that most clearly by watching his experience. So we kind of started in a bit... Well, why are we so... Oh, I must have hit play. Sorry, I'm just going to rewind it for a bit. Sorry, guys. We're going to start at the beginning. Alright, let's hit play. Okay, so in the top right is our green Terran player, Mike. You can speed up the intro just a little bit. In the bottom left is Decoy, who's now turned green for some reason. Anyways, that's fine. So we've got Decoy. He is Zerg player, and Mike, who is, I believe, a master player, is Terran, and he's in the top right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just get right into the Mike cam. Now, the reason why I'd like to watch this from Mike's point of view is because we're going to see the way his screen moves. And you might compare it to perhaps replays that you have and see the difference in your gameplay. So for example, he doesn't have any hockey. Oh, he does. You know what? I have that turned off. Sorry. Gotta show you guys his hotkeys. I gotta show you his hotkeys. There we go. There we go. Accept. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm actually gonna just show you StarCraft for a quick second. It's 4. Oops, no, that's not right. 4. Okay, so I'm not on the screen anymore, but I just wanted you to notice that right here and here you can see that he's got his command center on control group 1. He has that barracks there on control group 2. And you see how he's jumping between those two? He's able to do that by just hitting 1-1, 2-2. 1-1, 2-2. And he goes right between those two. He doesn't even have to scroll with his camera. He can just jump between those two buildings. Control group number 3, he has a worker, which he's using as his build worker. So he can just go 1-1, build a SCV, 3-3, build a bunker, or whatever he wants. Alright, I'm going to bring this back up. So even though you can't really see all the control groups because of our overlay, you can see he's using 3 at least at the moment. Okay, another thing I want you guys to notice when we're watching this replay is you'll see what he's selecting in the minimap. So look at the bottom left. You'll see that he's selecting buildings, and they will highlight. Let's see which one's going to highlight here. Okay, so he's highlighting the barracks. He's highlighting the barracks, and then he's highlighting the command center, just like that. So he's actually not even really scrolling around all that much. He's just double-clicking the number, and it's going directly there. At the same time, we've got a little bit of harassment. He sent out his initial Marine for scouting, and was able to find out that Decoy has a second base up already. But you'll see that he's not scrolling. Like normally, you'd have to use your mouse to move, right? Very, very rarely does he do that. Got some lings coming in, but they can't get past the bunker, that's for sure. Okay, now we see Mike is up to 4 control groups. Again, one is now both of his control centers, or command centers. 2 is his 1 barracks that he does have. 3 is now a factory. And 5 is his Marines. So it's very easy. You're able to cycle through all of your units. I personally recommend, and we're going to talk about this when we get into the IronGRID section of our show today, which is going to come after the play of the week. But I try to kind of stay within about 6 control groups. Just it seems easier for me to manage. Got a little swap out with the factory there. I guess that's going to help spit out Hellions. Is it? Yep, Hellions. Yep. The other great thing about, for example, having both your command centers on one hotkey, on control group 1, is you can just hit 1 and you can build SCVs, and if let's say you built 2 SCVs, they will build independently. You'll get 1 built at one location, 1 built at your other command center. It won't double up anymore. I think in the original StarCraft it used to double up, but that's not the case.
I'm in a heap of trouble.
Now, I'd be interested, Mike, I'm not sure if you're watching this, what kind of hotkey setup do you use? Do you use grid or standard?
Add-on complete.
Alright, so what else is going on? Looks like Mike is doing another swap with factory again. Sending out some Hellions on the far left of the map there. Doing a little scouting. There's no third. So he's probably going to see if he can put on a little bit of pressure. Okay, so Mike here is using what's called the standard hotkey layout. I use IronGRID, but I'll tell you guys about that after. So standard, I used to use standard too. I was kind of used to using it back when we were back in the Brood War days. But I switched to grid, and now there's something even better, I think. So you guys are, hopefully, I think you guys are going to like it. So we see a lot of Zergling production coming out of Decoy. He's going for upgrades, Zerg speed, and we have. Do we have Blue Flame yet? I'm not sure if we have Blue Flame. I don't want to disturb the camera. Hold on, I gotta know. Okay, I can't tell if we have blue flame. Quick, shoot something. Shoot! Shoot! No, we don't have blue flame. Alright, back to the mic cam. Alright, so doing some nice harass, hitting the worker lines. Because he was able to scout that early expansion, this is a really smart move, and he's even getting into these, not awkward, but these nice little tight corners so that the Zerglings can't get us around. That's awesome. Again, he was able to just hit that hotkey control group. I think that was 3. He was able to hit 3, and he takes him right to his factories. Notice also that he has multiple buildings on one control group. That's really important because, again, just like the command center, even if you're building multiple units, it will spread those units out evenly amongst the multiple buildings on your control group. So you're not going to double up or anything, it'll spread it out even. Some more Hellions in production by Mike. Again, you can see that he's and watch the map on the bottom left. Watch the map. You will see when it highlights what he is selecting. So this is the beauty of Hotkeys. StarCraft is a game that takes a lot of multitasking. So in order to do that multitasking effectively, when you're out with your army, you need to also be able to go 1-1, build workers, and still stay on your army. Or in this case, you might hit 3-3 and build a whole bunch more Hellions. But multitasking effectively is almost impossible without a really good hotkey setup. Okay, so it looks like he just lost... Let's take a look at the units lost tab, see what's going on here. So, Decoy has lost 79 units and 2,200 resources, and our Master Mike here, he has lost 22 units and only 2050. So it's still swinging in his favor, and looks like he's going to be taking himself a third. Now our Zerg player is on 3 bases, but I'm not sure how many workers were actually taken out in that little exchange. We've got more Hellions coming. I just want to show you. So see, he's able to jump there. Whenever you see the camera jump like that, it's either because he's clicking in the map or because he's double-clicking the control group, which in this case would be 5 for his Hellions. Blue Flame has now been upgraded, so they're really melting those Lings. At the same time, again, even when he's when he's looking at his Hellions, if you guys look at the minimap, you'll see that while he's at his vision's on the Hellions, he's pressing 3 to get his factories, and then building more Hellions. So really, just the ability to multitask is what makes using these control groups in Hotkeys so important. Alright, there's some spine crawlers there. I don't know if these... Oh, banelings are being built as well. It looks like the Hellions are going to have to back off. We've got upgrades for vehicle weapons. What's this, high-sec auto-tracking or something like that? Yeah. Thor's coming out. Siege tanks being built. Mike is now taking his third and is doing a worker transfer with a whole bunch of supply being built. And he's also able... You notice that Mike was able to take that scan just by hitting the 1. So hit 1, he could hit scan, and then click on the minimap. His vision wasn't even there, and he was able to scan that area. Amazing. Now he's got 6 factories on Control Group 3.
Research complete.
3 bases up. Looks like there's a bit of an attack coming, but those blue flames... Oh, looks like we got banelings and Zerglings coming, so it looks like the Hellions are going to back off a bit. Thors are on the field to see what units we have. We've got 3 Thors and 12 Hellions versus 33 Zerglings, 7 Infestors, and 7 Banelings. Okay, we got about 5 minutes left in this game. We're sensor towers going down to give Mike a bit more vision. And I guess the important thing about that is because it's in between the 2nd and 3rd base, it really helps to know where the attack's coming so that he can kind of stay in between those bases and move his army in between them. Again, I'd like you guys to keep your eye on that mini-map. You'll be able to see what he's selecting even though he's not looking at it, which is the beauty of Hotkeys. Alright, so we now have a nice little army right in the center. We can see that Decoy has an army that looks like it's heading possibly for the third. Not sure what's going to happen here. So we've got a completely mech army, which is a lot of fun to watch. Heading to the third. So we got a little bit of side-scrolling going on here, but primarily Mike has been using his hotkeys to move around. Not sure why that command center is going down, maybe to turn it into a planetary fortress. Ling doing a bit of scouting is going to get roasted pretty easily. Still don't know where that army is of Decoy. Oh, there he is. Right in the center. I think we're going to have an engagement here. Banelings are not going to be able to do any damage. They have to back off. Nice multitasking with the siege tanks. Siege tanks he has on a separate hotkey as well. He has that on 6. And his main army is on 5.
Ready to raise some hell.
So he's basically using 7 hotkeys right now, but primarily using 6. All of his command centers are on 1.
Ready to go.
He's got a barracks, lots of factories and starports that are on 3 and 4. His main army has now been... His entire army has now been put on control groups 5 and 6. I'm not sure why. Oh, I see. So his siege tanks... I understand. I see that now. Okay. So what he's done is his main army is on 5 and his siege tanks are on 6. Now the great thing about that is once you get into a battle, you just hit 5-5. It'll take you to your main army. Hit 6. Then you can click siege mode and you can take down infestors or any other thing on the ground that is a high priority. Using scans to find out where the army is.
SCV ready.
And I guess that's a great thing to do with a mech play because mech is a very slow-moving army, so you want to stick together, and maybe using that command center scan ability is a good way of scouting. 58 Zerglings are in production. Not sure how good massive amounts of Zerglings are towards Thors and siege tanks. But we'll see. Also, we have a Spire on the way. Vehicle weapons and plating are being researched again. I was right, I think down at the bottom we do have a planetary fortress on production. And again, planetary fortress and all your other command centers are all on one hotkey, and that allows you to really saturate and get your macro going real good. Alright, so we're starting to near the end of this match. I think we're going to have all those Zerglings just get roasted by the Hellions. Siege tanks are getting taken out by infestors and that was brutalisks. Ultralisks. Fungal going down, but it's not going to be enough to take out the Thors. One Thor... Oh, no, they're all gone. That army by Decoy is going to disappear. I'm going to scroll down a bit, see what he has left. He's got some infested Terrans wandering around. And that is the end of the game. That was Master Mike using hotkeys and control groups to kick ass. Great game, Mike. Thank you for sending in that submission, that replay. Again, guys, if you would like, please send any replays to info@sc2mistakes.com. We'll take a look at them. And Mike just said, aha. I don't know. I guess that means he's happy. Please send your replays to info@sc2mistakes.com. And we are going to jump in, even though Furious was not able to be here with us tonight. He's in with us in spirit from Cuba. He sent us the Furious Play of the Week. We're going to load that up. You guys are going to love it. And then after that, I'm going to introduce you to IronGRID. And hopefully that will change your mind on why you're not using hotkeys. Or maybe you want to try a different hotkey setup. Or maybe you don't agree with it at all. Stick around and find out, guys. Let's go to the Furious Play of the Week. How do I do it now? Oh, no, that's not the right one. There we go. All right. Okay, guys. This is the Furious Play of the Week. Sorry, I was a little distracted there. All these ghosts up at the top, this is a mono battle. All those ghosts at the top are Furious. This one ghost has gotten 0 kills, however, so he is out for revenge. How come we don't have any music in this? Oh well. I don't know what I did. I screwed up the music. So there's all these roaches that are tearing apart the base of Starman, I think it is. They're focusing on the buildings. There's huddled workers in the corner. Who will come to their rescue? Perhaps it will be the 0-killed ghost of Furious. He's moving through. Pusos is leaving his stalkers to hold the ramp. Now you'll see that the ghost is trying to cloak and walk through the roaches and maybe drop right on them. Even the SCVs have, I think they moved in to try and hold the roaches in place. The roaches, are they going to stay and get killed? No, they are not. They're going to get out of range of that nuke. The nuke's going to be cancelled. The ghost is picking away, but then Pusos says, hey, land a nuke over here. I will distract him. So Pusos is bringing in his stalkers, drawing the attention of the roaches. The roaches have taken the bait. They're moving up to attack the stalkers. The stalkers have lured them right into the zone of the nuke. The stalkers are getting surrounded. And the nuke falls, and at the exact same moment, the stalkers blink out of the way, and the Furious Ghost gets 34 kills with 1 nuke. Guys, we gotta see that again, because that was amazing. Blink and nuke at the exact same time. Let's watch it in slow-mo. Let's do it. 0 kills on this ghost. Roaches are getting into position. The bomb is falling. You see a blink and it lands, destroying 34 roaches. Oh, that was an awesome, awesome ghost. Thank you, Furious. Thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying your time in Cuba. That, my friends, was the Furious Play of the Week. And now we'll get back into our show. Greetings, friends. Welcome back to StarCraft Happy Hour. This is episode 2. We talked a bit about hotkeys, control groups. We saw demonstrated by Master Mike. And hopefully you guys were inspired to imitate his gameplay and use hotkeys yourself. So now what you might be wondering is, Agamemnon, you've been talking about IronGRID. What the heck is it? Alright. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about some of the challenges I've had with hotkeys. One of the things, no, I'm just going to show you my left hand. Okay, this is my mouse hand, right here. This is my left hand. My left hand is my keyboard hand. This hand is not very big. Okay, look, it looks big when I go here, but I don't have huge hands. I kind of have like these like stubby little fingers, right? It's always felt really awkward for me in either grid or in standard to like use my baby finger for the control button and my other fingers for the numbers. So it just always felt super, super weird. So IronGRID is using your thumb. Alright, so right now if I was using normal grid, my hand is on my keyboard. I'm going to show you my keyboard actually after. But I want to take you into StarCraft. I want to show you how it's set up. And if you guys want the hotkey file, you can just send me an email at agamemnon@sc2mistakes or info@sc2mistakes, and I can send you the IronGRID profile. And then you don't have to set it up. You can just load it up into your profile. But what IronGRID basically is instead of using like your pinky for your control, you're actually going to be using your thumb. All right. So let's load up StarCraft. It will only take a second, and I'm going to show you how it is set up. Okay, so let's get out of here. Okay, well, let's go to hotkeys. Alright, now I'm going to do just SC2. Here we go. Okay, welcome friends to IronGRID. This is IronGRID. Now, if you don't really understand what you're looking at here, don't worry, I'm going to be showing you this directly on my keyboard right after. But I just kind of wanted to show you how it's set up. Okay, so if you're at your computer, hopefully you are, Otherwise, I don't know how you're watching this. Locate the U button on your computer. Okay, so the U button is now. Okay, so you know what? This is the command card. Okay, so the command card in StarCraft is usually at the bottom right-hand corner. So these are the corresponding keys that you need to press to use that command card. They're visually identical to the command card. So for example, the top left in the command card is U. And U, you'll see, is where your pinky should be resting. I would be your other finger. O would be your middle finger. P would be your index. And this kind of weird looking thing is also your index finger. So you're switching between P and that. So basically it's exactly like grid, but it's been shifted to the right side of the keyboard. Now the reason why we do that is because it allows your fingers, your 4 fingers, to manipulate the command keys, and your thumb and just your thumb to handle the shift and control button. So it's a far more comfortable way of playing. So why don't I show you this on my keyboard? Let's do that. Just the webcam is here. Okay, guys. So the camera's going to get really screwy for a second because I'm going to move it, and I'm going to show you on my keyboard how IronGRID works. So bear with me. Okay, that is the computer. Alright, and get that into position. And I have this flipped, so again guys, just give me a second. I gotta just fix one little thing. Hang in there. If anybody's in chat, please say hi. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, here we go. Alright, so this might be really bright. I'm sorry if it's bright, guys. It's okay, so we're gonna let's just hold it up. Alright. Here we go, that's a bit better. This is my keyboard setup for IronGRID. Okay, now I'm sorry it's gonna be shaky, I'm just gonna hold it. Okay, so I'm just gonna move over a bit. Alright, so the way my hand rests when playing on IronGRID is just like this. So you see I've got my thumb on the control, I've got my thumb for shift, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 at the very top, and 5 and 6 are in these two little spots here. And other than the 5 and the 6, everything here from the U, the J, and the N, all of this area is simply grid. It's just grid switched over to the right hand side. This button I have assigned to tab, and so I've switched it to tab, just I was able to pull that off. The nice thing also is backspace is what allows you to jump in between, back and forth from your Nexus, command center, etc., etc. So you can just kind of click the backspace and it'll toggle you through. Tab will help toggle you through different units if they're in one hotkey control group. So one thing I really like about IronGRID, and maybe I'm just going to put this down now, since you guys got a pretty good look at it. One thing I like about IronGRID is that, is that my hand is in a very natural resting position. So I'll show you this. So look how relaxed my hand is. If I want to do control group 1, control group 2, control group 3, 4, I want 6, 5, you know, attack, attack, attack. Like, it's very, very easy, and incorporating shift and control is incredibly simple. Incredibly simple. Now I'm going to show you the other way that I used to play was grid, and standard players have this same kind of thing. Now you'll notice that in regular grid or standard, my thumb is on the spacebar. I don't use the spacebar, and I don't recommend anybody use it. It's pretty confusing because it just takes you to the last notification, but so many things are happening at once that spacebar is not very reliable. So I kind of find the spacebar completely useless. So this finger here, your thumb, isn't really helping you out. It's not really doing too much. So let's say I want to be on the hotkeys. I want to set up my control groups now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to go down to the control with my baby finger. I'm just going to lift up a bit. With my baby finger on the control, and I have to awkwardly reach up and hit 1. Right? It's very, very awkward. It's easier actually to be over here, but I find this very awkward. Whereas when I'm like this, my hand is in a natural resting position. Shift, Shift 1, Control 1. Like, it's very, very, very easy. If you have a bigger hand, you actually could have all of these numbers from 1 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because with a larger hand, it's easier to hold the control, and you could be 1, 2, you know, so that you've got all of those hotkeys up at the top. But these two buttons are almost not really used at all in Grid, so you can assign those to whatever you want. I also like to pop off keys if I'm not using them. This key right here, which is right beside the slash button, I think it is, that key I pop out because in the IronGRID it has no use, and I don't want to click it by mistake. Okay. So again, I just want to show you guys very simply. Look at how my hand is in a very natural resting position. I can access my hotkeys, I can assign them, I can add to them, and I'm on grid, so if I'm not sure what button means what, all I have to do is look at the bottom right hand of the screen, and that's that. So that is IronGRID. I'm just going to move this camera back into place for a second. Hey guys, okay, so I got to show you a little bit what IronGRID. Oh, sorry, I want to show you one more thing. Okay, see that back there? Right there. That's my press badge from when we were doing press for the NASL Grand Finals. Yeah. Anyway, so IronGRID essentially is, and I don't want to go through setting the whole thing up. I think it would just bore you guys. If you guys want the file, send me an email, or you want instructions, send me an email. I'll probably also be doing a blog on this for se2mistakes.com, just explaining it in further detail. But if what's holding you back from using hotkeys and control groups, if it's the awkwardness, maybe it feels weird, doesn't feel right, you're having a hard time using control, you're having a hard time making those control groups, I really recommend trying IronGRID, because it'll keep your hand. Okay, this would be your left, right? Okay, so this is your left. It would keep your hand in a very natural position. Your thumb will be handling control, which will create a control group, and the shift, which will add to a control group. And in that natural position, you're just going to be doing this. That's all. And your hand is not going to move more than just in that one spot. If you're using standard, I also recommend trying IronGRID, because in standard your hand is has to be all over the keyboard almost. With IronGRID, you're basically only using 6 control groups. We can add more if you want, but your hand is very immobile, so it's very ergonomic. And because all the keys are really close within reach, your reaction times can be a lot faster. So, you know, we did still I think one of our most popular videos is the how excuse me guys, I'm just going to take a little drink. Is the how to double your APM video. You can find that on YouTube on SE2 Mistakes. In that video, this IronGRID is kind of the next step in my progression from that video. In how to double your APM, we talked about putting, I think it was your control and your shift on your mouse. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I don't really recommend that either, because having control and shift on your mouse makes your clicks very inaccurate. So it's harder to click. Your mouse movement's not as accurate. You want your mouse hand just worrying about your mouse. That's it. So IronGRID allows you to have all your fingers in one spot, and your thumb is going to do all of your control groups and your shift, and that's it. So hopefully you guys liked learning about IronGRID. I hope I explained it well enough. Again, if I haven't, there will be a blog put up for it. And if you want to know how to set it up, or you just want the file to put it on your computer and play with it, send an email again. And thanks everyone for your submissions. Thank you Furious for sending in the play of the week. It was awesome. Best nuke ever. Thanks guys for coming by to StarCraft Happy Hour. Hope you had a good time, and we may or may not see you next week. December 24th, I personally will be away, so Not sure if Furious is going to do an episode on his own or if we'll do it another time. I'm not too sure, but you will be posted. Follow us on Twitter, and that way you'll always know what's going on with StarCraft Happy Hour. Again, guys, thanks for coming out. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate the replay. Have a good night, guys.